plan because it would then be thwarted. She had also shared that similar sentiment to me. She made up the story at the gun shop, and she indicated that on 1/28/11 in the police interview that her husband was going to be distraught. And there's a presumption that somebody knows the wrongfulness unless there's evidence that they are so grossly psychotic that they're out of touch with reality.
Yeah. Doctor, could you, in addition to what you've already testified to, is there additional evidence that you consider as supportive of your position that the defendant knew the wrongfulness of her conduct?
Yes.
And what is that additional evidence we haven't addressed yet?
The fact that there's substantial evidence that she was able to reason and reflect. And if someone can reason and reflect, then there is no reason to believe that they would not know the wrongfulness. And there are a number of examples of her her ability to reason and to reflect.
Are those examples based upon evidence that you have reviewed in the records?
Yes.
Can you describe those examples that support that opinion to which you've just alluded?
Well, one example is she obviously knew that she had to make people believe that she was carrying, that she was, let's say, getting a gun for other reasons. She pulled the car into the garage for other reasons. She made these notes, put these notes on the front of the house on the day so that people would think that she's away. On the day that this happened, she shared with me that she was functional in the sense that she took Calyx to track and took Bo, and then she picked up Calyx, took Bo to soccer, then picked up Calyx, and she, after dropping Calyx home, she went to Hard Rock Casino, and she played at the casino for a number of hours. But yet she knew that she had to be home by 4 o'clock because Bo got home at 4 or 4:30. So she had the cognition, the cognitive ability to reflect on that. The journal entries in terms of, telling whoever's reading that, presumably Mr. Schenecker, that, don't forget to tell these people what happened, give my clothes to these people, maybe post this on Facebook. She was thinking about what might come after this had been carried out. She also told me that when she was on the way to soccer practice with Bo, when she first took out the gun and he saw it, and she said to me that he told me to put it away, that she told him it was a toy gun. And although I had not seen that in the records before, close in time to this happening, this was a new report as I saw it, it meant to me that she really understood. She had to reflect at that time, well, if I'm going to carry this out, I better tell him it's a toy gun. And because she understood the lethality of this weapon that she had. Let
me ask you with specificity, do you attribute any significance insofar as your opinion as to the defendant's appreciation of the wrongfulness of her act to that statement written in the journal that and I paraphrase, K-Leaks called me evil, and in parentheses, the evil starts Thursday.
Yes, I mean, that kind of goes along with the massacre issue. The evil starts Thursday. If she had presented prior to this happening, let's say at her psychiatrist or her psychologist's office or Winmore, with very serious religious delusions.
Please continue.
If she had presented with what we call religious delusions, that she has these beliefs that, she's a saint, or she's Mary, or she's, something kind of bizarre when it comes to religion, I might have looked at that statement about evil as, oh, this is maybe part of her religious delusion, but she didn't have any religious delusions. She was basically saying, as I saw it, that she knew that something bad, something wrong was going to occur on Thursday, which in fact it did.
Do you have any opinion as to the role that the defendant's abuse of alcohol and opioids in the days leading up to the murder had upon her subsequent conduct?
Yes.
What is your opinion in that regard?
In my opinion, it had a substantial impact on her mental state, and as a result of that, it would have affected her conduct. I mean, alcohol and sedatives and narcotic pain medicines, these are all what we call central nervous system depressants. They can seriously add to someone's depression. They can, and of course, when someone is very depressed, as she was very depressed, it can affect their judgment. And so the proof to me, not only that I know from my training and as a medical doctor that alcohol in excess, narcotics, when taken not as prescribed, can really affect people's mental state. I mean, she had serious consequences of her alcohol and drug use. I mean, she was in a serious accident. She had to go to rehab. I mean, if alcohol and drugs did not have a serious impact on people's mental state or their behavior, then there'd be no need for rehab.
May I have a moment, please? Do you have any opinion, doctor, as to whether statements of the defendants concerning her worry about her children being molested if they were left behind following her suicide, whether those statements rise to the level of delusions?
I have an opinion about that.
What is that, sir?
Certainly, a statement like that would not be even relevant to whether someone's psychotic or not. People can have those concerns and they don't even have a mental illness. But what is significant about that for me is that I never saw in any of the evidence, either I didn't see it in her journal unless there's something that I couldn't read. I did not see it in her journal. I did not see it when she spoke to the police. I did not see it when she spoke to her own defense team. This is something that came out down the road, and it kind of came out of left field. So I really did not put much weight on that, because that in my opinion was either a non-deliberate distortion of memory, or it was a deliberate distortion of memory to make herself look more impaired, or for her reasons to be, more real, if you will.
Do you have an opinion as to whether or not any expression of concern that her daughter Calix would become bipolar and that may have provided an additional reason for the killings, whether that stated concern rises to the level of a delusion?
No, I mean, it's not a delusion. It's something that she is explaining as to one of several reasons why she is taking the children with her. I mean, there are a number of reasons why she did that. I mean, the bottom line to me, based on my review of all of the information in the case, is that this was someone who was severely depressed. Her world was really deteriorated in terms of her family. There were lots of stress going on. She was abusing alcohol and drugs, which had a dramatic impact on her thinking and her feeling and her behavior. And she decided that if she's going to go, she's going to take the kids, which is not, in my experience, all that unusual, that sometimes parents do not want to leave their children behind. There also was an element of anger in the case that...
And anger towards whom, in your opinion?
There was anger towards her husband. There was resentment, there was hostility expressed in various ways.
And upon what evidence do you base that opinion that there was anger and betrayal and resentment, as you've described it, against Parker Schenecker?
Well, she had expressed in her treatment that she had anger. She expressed, and that's at USF, she expressed it in Winmore, that she felt that her husband and her daughter were controlling her life. She didn't feel she belonged there. She expressed a lot of anger when I evaluated her, that she really felt that she was severely mistreated and treated like a child and by her husband, and that her daughter and her son to a much lesser degree, but her daughter had really been terribly mean to her. And Mr. Schenecker, in, I believe it was an email to Dr. Obregon, said, it was either, or to someone, said that she has been deeply, profoundly affected by what's happened with her daughter. And some of the evidence of that hostility came out in the journal, where she said something to the effect of, well, if you were home, I might have taken you out too, with an exclamation point. That email that she sent to him after she obviously had already killed the children, in my opinion, my reading of it was quite hostile. We'll come home, we're waiting for you. There may have been some significance to her putting the information she did on February 1st on the calendar. I don't know that for sure, but that's the day he was coming home. She had a lot of anger, and she didn't hesitate to describe the anger that she had about, she felt abandoned, she felt betrayed, she felt controlled.
Objection narrative?
Next question. What additional evidence did you rely upon in your opinion that anger was in part a state of her mind at the time of the offense?
Let me just look for a moment. She described to her defense team on 129/11 as well as, I believe, on 1/20/11 to the therapist at USF and to me, and possibly to others. She was very angry about that email that went out, and that nobody would share it with her, and she was very upset about it.
You indicated that, in your view, there was evidence that at the time of the offenses, this defendant felt controlled and betrayed. Upon what evidence do you base that opinion?
Well, in the Winmore records, it indicates that, she felt that she wasn't in control of her life. It was her husband and her daughter. She didn't feel that she needed to be there. And, she had also shared with me that she felt betrayed by her family. She felt they didn't understand her mental illness. They didn't give her enough support. She said that she was essentially left alone for weeks. No one even cared to come in and talk to her. She, on 1/29/11, in the defense interview, she talks about, that how many times did Parker come in to see me? Or how many times did anyone come in to see me? 0. She was upset, angry about those things. So, there are other pieces of evidence that show that, but those are the ones that come to mind.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Stein. No further questions.
And members of the jury, all assembled, we'll go ahead and give you, again, about a 20-minute comfort break. As I send you out, I'll remind you we're in the course of trial, not to discuss the case among yourselves, not to discuss it with anyone else, not to allow anyone to discuss it with you or in your presence, not to speak at all of the attorneys, witnesses, defendant about any subject to deliberations or finished, not to read or listen to any reports about the case from any source whatsoever, not to do any sort of research, gather information about, communicate about the case, or the people and places involved, or your jury service through any means, including electronic devices. Send you out for that break.
All right.
Execs of the courtroom. Doctor, going to instruct you not to discuss the case or your testimony until you return to the witness stand, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, anything before we take this break?
No, Your Honor.
No, sir.
20-minute recess.